have a man on lockdown for 10 years and then set him free from the jail because he's finished his sentence, he does not know how to come out and make a living. Because he's been on lockdown for 10 years. But when you rehabilitate him, I don't know why we call them the corrections department. We correct nothing. They come out more incorrect than they were when they went in. It should be the prison incorrect system. Because we don't correct anybody. Now, if we were rehabilitating and making them free while they're in there, they'll never come back. But a system of witchcraft says, I want you to come back. I want you to come back and get in this system because I programmed you to live in here and work for 10 cents an hour and make this stuff that we can sell for $5 a piece. Because we want to get rich off of you. And see, the Constitution says that nobody shall be enslaved except it's for criminal activity. So now when you can violate the laws, then they can incarcerate you. That is slavery. They did it in the 1800s. Going on now. I live in a country where witchcraft is the order of the day. And my concern is that us as people of color, us black folk in church, you ain't got no business operating in witchcraft with nobody in the house of God. You should never let that come out of your behavior. You ought not ever be playing a game with one another. You ought not ever be up in here talking about, I'm with you, apostle, and then lying to me, stabbing me in my back. You ought not be sitting up here with me talking about, we're going to help you get this done, and as soon as we get into another building, then half of y'all jump ship and then wait for me to die up under the pressure of not being able to pay for it. That's what we do. That's witchcraft. That's what we do. And if you operate in witchcraft, that means your father is a witch who is Lucifer, Satan. You see, when I shake a man's hand and tell him I'm going to do what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it even if it costs me. God said, blessed is the man that swears to his own hurt and keeps his word. Even if what I said I'm going to do, even if it costs me something that I really don't have right then, I'm going to do it because I told you. I'm not going to come up and say, well, apostle, I was going to help you with that, but, something came up. I ain't never seen as many something come up as I have among black folk. Black folk have something to come up about every 3 days. We always got something. Apostle, I got caught up because something came up. And if you ask them what came up, it would be something different if they were running a corporation and had to fly them to South Africa. All they had to do was go to Walmart and talk about something came up. Do you understand how small-minded we think? And you're always trying to put us in places of power, and we're down here thinking about little itty-bitty stuff, gaming on one another. If I tell you I can do something, I'm going to try my best to do it. If I can't, I'm going to tell you, well, I won't be able to do that. It's simple. Why do you lie knowing you can't do it and knowing you ain't going to do it? When you told that lie, inside you was saying, I ain't going to do that, but yeah, I'll be there, I'll be there. You knew when you said it, you weren't going to be there. But we play those games. And he always said, tell my people to straighten stuff out. Listen, folks, you ain't seen what's going to happen in this place with folk who are looking for real experiences with the living God. Because, you see, I found out as I hearken diligently to his word, my stuff changes. Things get better. You see, I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, when you going to send me a miracle? He said, no, I'm not going to give you a miracle in your body. I'm going to give you a miracle in your mind. He said, your problem is in your mind, not in your body. He said, if you get your mind. You see, when I first went through this surgery and this stuff was, these arteries blocked up and I could barely walk to the mailbox and, I just felt like, Lord, have mercy. I'm just in this hole. I can't get out. The hormones in my body is off because of that surgery. I'm trying to take stuff to balance myself out, and I'm up 1 minute, down ground the next. I'm going to hold this minute. I'm on top of the ground the next. And I was feeling, Lord, let death come. I am so tired. Just let death come. I'd rather be dead than go through this. It took me a while to get my mind changed. I don't even think about death. I don't think about sickness except to pray for it and kill it. I'm not disturbed behind the things that used to disturb me. I said, Lord, I think I know what I did. I had my knee aching a little bit, but I was sitting in there at that desk, and I got a habit of sitting behind my desk and taking my knee and pushing up on that desk. And I'll actually lift it a little bit off the floor. God said, see, you too old to be doing that. He said, that's why your knees hurt. He said, that was you. It ain't got nothing to do with you getting old. It's got everything to do with you not using good sense. He said, you ain't going to move the desk. Why are you sitting there trying to push the desk up? You trying to prove that you're Superman? He said, no, you don't need to leave the desk where it is. So that was me. That wasn't the devil. I bind you, Satan. Satan said, I didn't do that. I want him there. You put the desk there. That was your knee in your chair. So we do dumb stuff and want to blame it on the devil. And the devil said, hey, God, here they go again. You got some lying children. They lying on me every day. He said, no wonder you can't do anything with them because they always lying on me. I wasn't even in the vicinity. I was in Cleveland. And here they come out. The devil did it. You see, folks, we do not process. Our brains have been operating up under the system of witchcraft. The stuff they put on TV, Disney is witchcraft. CBS, NBC, ABC, they operate in witchcraft. And they operate in sorcery to mess with your mind. They put stuff in your ear gate, eye gate, and cause you to have wrong perceptions about stuff. Have you believing that you've got to be long flowing hair and 118 pounds and got to bounce to the door when your man comes home and he's got to have a little almost clean shaven beard and he's looking like he's 6 feet tall, weighing 185 pounds, got muscles rippling everywhere. After you had a couple of babies, forget it. And after you done raised a couple of babies as a man, forget it. Because that ain't going to happen. You see, if you can't, the Bible said, told a man, let your fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Your fountain is your sex organ. And he said, let it be blessed by rejoicing with the wife of your youth. Why did he say youth? You married her when she was young. If you keep in your mind the right thing about her, she'll look like she did when she was young, even though she may have changed. In other words, you won't need pornography. You'll make a movie of your woman every time in your mind that you lay down with her. And here you are. And see that word, porne, is the word idolatry. So when you're into pornography, meaning writing down or pictures, you're into worshiping ancient demons. Then you wonder why crazy stuff goes on in your house. You're worshiping demons. You brought demons in your house. Then you wonder why your children crazy. Why they into all kinds of perversion and stuff. Why they think that bisexuality is okay, homosexuality is okay. You brought it in the house because you decided you weren't going to let that woman be your movie. You wanted to go watch the idols. And now your hormones won't rise up as high as they should with her because you got to have these idolatrous stimulants that came out of pornography to stir you up. Now, when you get into that stuff early, it kicks your hormone level up so high that when you get to a certain age, you're almost flattened out. Now, you're 18, 19, 20 years old, and you're trying to get it up. And, I don't know what's wrong. Listen, I know guys in their 20s taking Viagra. I do not take Viagra. The thing that sends my blood pressure up is sitting there in that brown dress. Because all that Viagra does is it constricts your arteries to cause that blood, when you finally get it there, to stay there. That's all that does. But if you do a little eating right, a little exercise, keep your mind on her, he'll work by himself. I don't have to think about no other woman. I think about her. I look at her, and she'll say to me, how do you find me, with what I'm going through, attractive? The image of who you were is in my mind. And the image of who you're going to be is in my mind. So right now, this is only a temporary thing, and what is temporary is not eternal. It's the eternal things that I look to, and I bring what I know is real into my mind, and that's how I live. That's how I work. I call those things that be not as though they were. So I don't care what I feel. I don't care what I see. I see something else from the inside. I create my own reality from inside. So you say what you want to, well, it looks mighty bad. It looks mighty bad to you. No. Situations, amen. The situation you're in, you say, Lord have mercy, this is a bad situation. That's your perception of it. I may come look at it and say, oh, this ain't so bad. We can fix this. And then you freaking out like, don't you see how bad it is? Only thing that I see how bad it is you. And if you quit being all hysterical, and you know, sometimes we got to grab that like they do in the old movies, and she's just screaming, ah, pow, slap her, and straighten her out. Settle down. Quit that mess. Because some of y'all just get too hysterical. Lord, Lord have mercy. I just don't know what we's going to do. What we's going to do is shut you up first. Now, up under witchcraft, it involves a conjuring up demons from hell and dispatching them to churches to cause envy, strife, and confusion. It brings spirits of delusion, cause you to see things that's not so. I know he was talking about me. You sure do think a lot of yourself. To think that I'm going to fast and pray and study just so I can figure out something to say about you. You do think too highly of yourself. Speaking words against each other falls up under witchcraft. Praying contrary to the will of Yahweh against someone or their business is witchcraft. Do you realize when you operate in the spirit of envy and jealousy against another brother or sister, that's witchcraft? It came out of witchcraft. That is the super spirit. And the envy operates up under this thing of jealousy, envy, which creates strife and variance and emulation. So you see, everything has a point at the top, and it works its way down. But witchcraft, it'll cause you to do things and say things and behave in ways that's just absolutely not profitable for anybody. So, I'm thankful for your blessings. Want to see you with more. But when I start getting jealous and envious because of what God has blessed you with, then what I'm doing, I'm creating a negative energy field, and I'm going to attract other things. That's why they say birds of a feather flock together. You know that one's full of envy. Then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 people join the church, and they're hanging out together. Uh-oh. Energy field has drawn them. They know it about each other. They just see it. They feel it. And all of a sudden, they're having conversation, making a lot of phone calls. They're tied up in the same spirit. Witches and warlocks and devil worshippers are driven by fear, hate, greed, and pride. They're driven. And one of the biggest problems they have is pride. They are those that are into that stuff, witches and warlocks. They operate in pride, greed, fear, and hate. Now, the problem with that, you operate up under that stuff. You're bringing that stuff in the midst of a camp. And what you're doing, you're bringing, if you could see these spirits, they used to be in human bodies, because the demons that you deal with are disembodied spirits. They used to be humans in the world before Noah and the world before the flood and even before that, because Yahweh didn't just start doing stuff 6,000 years ago. These forces have been in operation a long time. So what you do, you bring that spirit in among other folk who don't have that spirit. You short circuit the blessed energy of the Holy Spirit. You see, if I'm operating in a spirit of lust, to where it's unsafe for your woman to be around me because I've always got something to say, I'm bringing demonic forces in because I refuse to deal with myself and keep my stuff under while I pray to get completely free of it. But instead, every time I turn around, I got something to say to somebody's woman. Oh, you sure looking good today. And there's my wife sitting right there. What's wrong with you, boy? Your wife is here. You done been married to her, and now you in here telling everybody how good they look. You need to be telling your wife how good she looks. Then you can keep your eyes off other folk because she'd be looking right. But see, in your eyes, you've gotten frustrated with her. So now you're looking at her, and in your mind you saying, make me sick. Get on my nerves. And that's exactly right. She's going to make you sick. She's going to get on your nerves because you planted the seed. Then you're out here skinning and grinning with your ugly self at some other woman. That's you, dude. That's you. And she's looking at you saying, I wish he'd gone somewhere. Every time I turn around, he's always got something to say. And then you know what? I'm going to tell you what women start to say about you. They start to say when they done got aggravated with you, that little nasty thing, I wish he'd gone somewhere. I ain't studying him. They start doubting you with his ugly self. And you know what? When you stop messing with women, don't want to be bothered by you, they'll make you stink, and you don't smell good either. Even if you had on some cologne, they'll say stuff about you. You better quit that mess. Don't you know how this thing works? Lord, here he come with his ugly self, stinking rascal. And you could have just had a bath, put on cologne, have on clean clothes. I'm telling you how these spirits work. Because they have no interest in you. Now, let me tell you what the mind does. When there's no interest in you, for to shut that thing down and for them to feel more justified in at some point cussing you out, they got to degrade you in their mind. And you don't get it. That's what they do. I got 4 daughters. I've heard them. I had 4 sisters. I've heard them. And you think you cool. Here you come dapping along and they be saying, look at it. I hope he fall down. You better know, I'm telling you the truth, boys. I'm telling you how it works. You get talked about, but you think you're cool. Stop that. Get a grip on yourself. Ask the Lord to help you. You got no business. I ain't bothering nobody else's woman. That's the one I got right there. And see, I know when I talk about her, I know I make the witches mad. I know. Because they say, how come he got to care about her like that? Every man I had, he treated me bad. Well, you treated him bad. You were a witch. You had issues. And those first 6 you married, you should have learned something by then. And then you come back with number 7, you don't know how to deal with him either. You should have learned something about going through changes with 6 of them. but we hadn't learned anything. And if you have lost 6, haven't you figured out there's something wrong with you? Don't you understand your energy field attracts the same kind of man? Whatever has been done to you, you attract that kind of man. If you're accustomed, or if you saw abuse in your family, your energy field is going to attract abusive men. And we don't do anything in the church to bring any deliverance. We say nothing. We just want to get you happy. Oh, I got them folks shouting today. Oh, I tell you what. And when I got them at a peak, I said, oh, the Holy Ghost is saying, we need 17 people to bring $500. Man, I got my money, and man, we sitting out here in Golden Corral right now having dinner. That's the witchcraft. Don't you see the game, folks? Don't you see it? It's time for it to stop. Witches. They operate in murder, wizardry, and sorcery. The Bible said he that hates his brother is a murderer. America's been operating in witchcraft a long time. Because we got saved and we were still hated, even though we were saved by the same God that saved the folk that hated us. And not all of them, but that system was in place. So I dare not put all of my white brothers and sisters up under this. Now, some of you right now are a little bit fearful. Lord, he said white people. There are white people on the planet. As there are black people and brown people and red people and yellow people. But see, the church has become so politically correct that we can't even preach the truth in church. There's some other things that go on in witchcraft. What they call spirit wives. When I first heard some of the African brothers talk about it, I'm like, what in the world are they talking about? Spirit wives and spirit husbands. And those are the incubus and succubus spirits. I've had people tell me, I had a woman tell me that this thing that came in and had sex with her about 3 times a week, she said this thing was so violent that it was jealous. And when she would start talking to a man, somehow or another, it would never work. You know why? Because this spirit husband, this incubus spirit, had gotten in the midst, and it would stir up such negative energy that no man would want to have any deep fellowship with her. We don't even understand. We live in Babylon. These are old Babylonian spirits. These things are doing the same thing. I've had women tell me that these things satisfied them so good sexually that they didn't even want a man. Why are y'all so quiet? I'm telling you now. Personally, my wife and I have dealt with this stuff. Little children, little girls, little boys being molested in their sleep. Now, see, this scares people half to death, but I'm telling you, it's all around you. You may as well get over it. Disney got you ready for it. It's everywhere. And we in the church don't know how to deal with it. But anything that is not exposed will flourish. If you don't expose it, it's going to keep right on growing. So I'm telling you, we know how to pray and know how to break that stuff, know how to stop it. It's unbelievable some of the things that we have heard my wife and I have dealt with, and that's one of the reasons why the devil despises and hates us so badly, and we need your prayers, and we don't need all this internal strife, because we're having to deal with stuff that you ought not be a part of. So we've got these spirit wives and spirit husbands and spirit guides. Now we're supposed to be praying against the works of spirits of witchcraft, paralyzing, chanting, and evil spirits, because there are evil spirits that they actually sit and they chant against you. That's right. They sit and they repetitiously pray against you. They say, we send our energy toward John and we bind him. He will not get this done. We will create roadblocks for him. And they put that energy out there, and humans that don't know the Lord and some who do will pick up on that energy, and all of a sudden stuff is happening to you and you wonder where it came from. There was a spirit working against you, and it found weak people to be the legs for it in the earth realm. And if we don't expose, people will keep doing that stuff, and being an agent of Satan right in your midst and keep tearing up your stuff. We had witchcraft worked against us, my wife and I, and I'm going to be through in just a couple minutes. When we found that snake's head in our driveway, we had we've been with the same insurance company, car insurance, for 40 years, and probably hadn't had maybe 2 claims, maybe a broken windshield or something like that in 40 years. All of a sudden, in a 2-year period of time, we have 9 claims. But only after we found that snake's head. 9 claims. Don't tell me that folks don't chant against you. You see, a lot of stuff is going on with you is not what you think it is. But see, rather than you go pray, you go find somebody else that you can talk to about this stuff who's a bigger witch as the one that's doing the witchcraft. So I suggest you don't talk to everybody. Don't tell everybody your business. Keep your mouth shut. Don't tell everybody, because what they know, listen, if you plan on doing something, wait until it's done, then let them see it. Don't tell them. Don't put your name on it. When you go check it out, park your car 3 blocks away and walk around there. You don't want them to know. These folks will come by, ride by, abracadabra, speaking in a devilish tongue to curse what you do. You better understand what you're dealing with. This church thing is not a game. And we come up in the church, they sure good sing. But you don't even realize that the musician was operating in witchcraft. Don't even understand that the person who was leading the song just got out of the bed, that the girl finished leading the song, got out of the bed with another woman last night. See, we don't even know that. We don't even know that these folk were smoking crack and drinking liquor, and we say, that was a good worship service. What kind of demons were loosed in your midst? You felt good, but you ain't going to have good days, I tell you that.